She's joining me here today to talk about the Women's Dressing Room ahead of tomorrow's general election. You're very welcome, Mary Shirley.
Thank you very much. Indeed.
A very good morning again.
And the same.
Have you been to Uganda before?
Oh, many times.
Many
times. Apart from serving here as resident coordinator of the UN system,
yes,
in 1988, as far back as that, my husband also worked here at the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. And he loved Uganda so much that he stayed here for 25 years.
Ooh.
So, of course, that meant I was going and coming.
Okay.
And most important, seeing the development of the country from when I was here in 1988 until, of course, this time.
Okay.
So I sort of have a historical perspective. And I have many friends here. And I'm saying hi to all of them.
Ugandan friends.
Yes.
That's
Ugandan
indeed very important. And it's a culture to actually give people names, our traditional Ugandan names. Did you get a name from Uganda? Or did your husband actually have a Ugandan name?
Actually, for myself, I was not so lucky.
You weren't so lucky?
Because I was going and coming. He stayed here. I never asked him.
Wow.
And so, since he passed on, I cannot go now and to ask him
to
that.
Actually know whether he got a name
to ask him
or not.
that and other things he might have done in Uganda. He's a very nice man. I must say.
How does it feel being first woman, first year, first that, first that? How does it feel having firsts on your record?
Well, you know, I grew up in a society which was very difficult as far as women's emancipation and so on was concerned in Ghana. Additionally, I was very thin and small. So, you know, my time, I joined the Ghana Civil Servant at the Office of the Planning Commission in 1962. And
1962, Uganda's just getting our independence.
I've been around. But then you can imagine at that time how the position of woman was considered. And I can tell you it wasn't easy. It was assumed you would be 70 when you went to meetings, even though you were representing your particular institution. But gradually, you know, and in the process, you gather a lot of tools, which we use now to mentor women and give them courage. And the situation is much different now. I mean, you look even at Uganda, from 1988 when I was coming here.
When you first came to Uganda.
Yes, to now. You now find women with voice. They speak up. And what I have loved is that they are positive. Some countries I have been to, because the women feel sort of threatened, as women do everywhere, they sort of go to the background. But your women here, I want to commend. They are brave. And I can only encourage them in all aspects of life to work with the younger people, to give them even bigger hearts, so they will be lionesses. Right now, we are no longer lambs. You can't walk over us, but we are not up there with the men.
You're not yet lionesses.
We will be. We will be.
You're aspiring to get there.
I think it's too late. It's too late.
Not just as an individual, but you as women.
As women, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. Because you see, I keep saying that God knew what he was doing when he created Eve. We have the softer touch. And women don't tend to have ego. So when men will not give in, especially within a context which is competitive, the woman will come in with a softer voice and encourage him and let him know, listen, this is nothing, etc. So at times of elections like this, or any situation where you can have tension, it's natural. It's part of the electoral process that it's competitive. Everybody thinks they have the right message for the country and they have to be in charge. And they want to win. Some men forget the objective, which is, if you take Uganda, to think Uganda rather than themselves because of the male ego. This is where the voice of the woman, the gentler voice, is so important. I'm sure you agree with me.
At all times, yes, I do agree with you.
Yeah, so this is why we have the Women's Situation Room as a women-led initiative. And therefore, the whole toolkit we have would have these characteristics I've talked about.
So what's the Women's Situation Room now? What is it all about?
You know, the Women's Situation Room started actually in Liberia. You know, Liberia had a terrible history of civil war. I wouldn't tell some of the stories. But it wasn't going away.
It's had that bad history, which is known
exactly.
to many of us. Yeah.
You know.
Up to currently where they are, things are not still the best, even today.
Even today. Even today. But I can tell you, it was a never-ending story of violence and conflict and ethnicity, and honestly, at some stage, the women of Liberia decided to bring on board the youth and take peace and peacemaking in their own hands. So it meant then that they had this particular initiative, which is the Women's Situation Room, championed by the women of Liberia, and with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, very much with them.
Being the first woman on the continent to be president of a country?
Elected president.
Elected president, yes.
Of the continent, and still is. You know, these are some of the things we will change, you know. But she championed it. It was taken to the African Union, endorsed at the 50th anniversary of the African Union as an important mechanism.
In 2013?
Yes. And since then, it's been also taken to the Security Council, and they have endorsed it for global application, where you tend to have these conflictful situations. And you know, I'm a member of the panel of the wives of the African Union.
You are one of the 5? How many are you?
We are 5.
You are 5, yes.
Yeah, we have Speciosa.
Yes, I knew that.
Dear friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why I know, because I know she's one of the members of the panel of the wives.
Of the wives, yes. In fact, she chaired it. And you know, she's...
And Ellen Johnson is one of them.
Ellen is currently also on it.
Ellen is currently also on it.
Yes, but I was about 10 years ago. But you don't leave the panel.
Oh,
you become a friend of the panel once you get on. You are always a member. You are always there. And we work together.
You were there before Ellen Johnson. You were there before.
I was there before them. I was there with President Kenneth Kaunda and so on. Salim.
Ahmed Salim of
Tanzania, and so on. You know, and we know about elections. We have identified them at the level of the panel of the wise as one of the triggers of conflict. Because my personal opinion is that Africa has not managed very well with transition of power. You have somebody as leader and moving to another leader or the same leader within the context of elections. That's a major trigger for conflict all over the continent.
And isn't that a mockery now to democracy? Because we've not yet learned how to manage that. And we talk about a continent post-independence that is counting 60. We are now in our 60s.
That is quite true.
When you look at our post-independence,
that is quite
isn't it a mockery to democracy?
Democracy, you know, we could get into an intellectual discussion. But let's not start.
For today.
I'll come back for that. But I will make a general statement, a very loose statement, that our experiences in Africa with the copycat democracy we have has not been very happy. You know, I think we have to get our intellectuals to sit together, our think tanks, and you are right, we have so much experience, and now try to think through what sort of governance structure would be better for Africa. can be a modification of this, etc. If I take my country, Ghana, our own traditional ruling, we didn't have opposition. Opposition is a bad word. You know, this is why here you had a movement where everybody was part of the set.
In that broad-based setting.
Exactly. And then you are all aiming for the same thing. And you have somebody you trust who can share responsibilities. You choose people who can actually deliver because they've got the competence. Now, once we get into what we have now, which I'm telling you, we are copying models, not based on our own traditions where we come from. We find ourselves having these problems. We can't just wish them away. We depend on donors who are insisting that we do things in a particular manner, even when they will not suit us. And here we are. Election time, transition in Africa is a terrible time.
Let me first ask you, Madam Marie.
Yes, please.
Are elections important for us? Do we need to organize elections regularly?
I think nobody has got all the knowledge in their head. So you have to get a system of testing. Who is the best to lead? And the people who should decide are the people who are going to be led. And this is why you must have elections. You have to open it up, make sure that everybody has an opportunity to try. And our constitutions have tended to embed this particular thing. But definitely, you need to test to see who is best under the circumstances. So you must have a form of selection, if not election. But not with all the wahala, as we say in West Africa, surrounding elections in Africa. And with those who suffer the most in the end being women. Because when you have a conflictful situation, the men run away. They run away. And they leave the women and the children and old men. You see, so I mean,
old men who can't run away.
They can't. You know, and old women too, like myself. If you ask me to run, I'm not sure I can. But therefore, women they really must have interest in preserving the peace, which is what the Women's Situation Room is trying to do. And what we do is, when we say it's a room, it's a series of activities. We go into a country, we select eminent women of the country who in time of trouble can have the voice to speak up and have the reach, because they are eminent women, to talk to those who are making decisions and who might be able to stop some violence which is exploding somewhere. But we don't leave the women, eminent women of the country alone. We bring in people from Africa.
People from Africa?
Africa,
okay.
The rest of the continent. So if I take this time, I'm here, okay? Because I know people here at the highest level. I am sure if I feel I have to talk to somebody, they will know I'm genuine.
So you specifically came for this exercise that is happening?
Exactly. And you see me limping here and so on.
Yes,
I made the effort because I love Uganda. And I saw Uganda when it was, and I see Uganda now. And I see the importance of preserving the peace and making sure that never again must Uganda recede. It's not on. It's a beautiful country. So, and
the Pearl of Africa. Beautiful, and the Pearl of Africa.
And we are here from several African countries supporting the women here.
So is a situation room, the women's situation room, is it a composition of all women from the different countries of Africa?
With your women here.
With our women here?
Yes. Who are eminent.
Yes, eminent women.
Yes. And who have reach. And who, in time of trouble, can take a phone and call somebody and draw attention to a situation and say, please, can you intervene?
Okay.
But we don't do this alone. We've come in, we've looked at the situation. For the first time here, we have a women's situation room in some districts, in Soroti,
Okay.
in Mbarara, in Gulu. And we are manning this
Eastern,
central
Western,
part.
Northern. Yes, I can see you covering the country.
We're
And of course,
really
here in
covering the
Kampala.
country, and we don't do it alone. We have selected and trained monitors,
Okay.
women, but also the youth,
There was
who are all over the place.
There was an election just recently in December.
Yes.
I think on the 7th of December in Ghana. The election between the NPP and the NDC of President Nana Akufo-Addo and former President Dramani Mahama.
That is true.
And I wanted to do the comparison of the situation in Ghana and how it was. And that was their 8th election from 1992. And of course, quite a number of things now. Uniquely, in Ghana, we even saw the two presidents sign a presidential peace pact to ensure that actually they manage the processes. Now, another very unique situation in Ghana is that these two political parties, or these two big parties, the NPP and the NDC, all have what they call the vigilantes. And I think it was in 2019 when they signed the anti-vigilante law in Ghana. I want us to do or draw the comparisons of what the women's situation room saw in Ghana to what is here. I do not know whether you participated in that Ghana's election a month ago.
The women's situation room did. I did not. And I like to seize the opportunity. You know, I was chief advisor to the president of Ghana.
Which president?
Kufuor. And
President
you know,
John
we
Kufuor.
went for elections in 2008.
President John Kufuor.
President Kufuor was in power.
And
His party lost. And he was going out. He'd done his 2 terms. But his party lost. And I was, you know, chief advisor.
who came in? Atta Mills came in.
Atta Mills came in.
Atta Mills came in.
And we had a smooth handover
From John Kufuor to Atta Mills.
to Atta Mills with a difference of, you know, 11 million people voted. The difference between Akufo-Addo, who was trying, and President Mills was 40,000.
40,000 votes.
40,000.
And Akufo-Addo lost.
He lost. He and it was his party which was in power. So Ghana has been lucky. We have this tradition. I mean, vigilantes, this and that. Now, because things have not been that bad, we've never had civil war. Every country has a different history. People are passionate about peace. We see the images on television and so on, and therefore, at some point, you give in. Now, the vigilantes they talk about, I mean, if you take the country, maybe these activities are taking place in 2% of the country.
Of the country.
2%, it's not as if it's all over the place, no.
Not all the regions, not all the districts.
Not all, even in Accra. I mean, the last time we had problems in Ayawaso, Wogon, that's where I vote. But I didn't see anything. I voted quietly, came back, went back for the counting, and nothing. But it was played up in a manner that you would think Ghana was burning. I don't mind at all. It draws attention to the fact that violence at time of election, however minimal, is not necessary.
It's not necessary.
You agree with me?
It's not necessary.
It has to be avoided. What we also talk about a lot in the women's situation room, especially related to the youth, is the people who go to fight and put themselves at risk and so on, are not the children or relations of the politicians who benefit in the end. You know, these are the things which the women's situation room talk about. So we work with the youth. In Ghana, we were working in the ghettos. I couldn't get involved because they said I was politically exposed. Everybody sees my face and they immediately think of President Kufuor, who belongs here.
And the NPP.
And the NPP. So I sort of recused myself from these activities. So we preserve the neutrality of the room. Nobody there should make anybody feel that they shouldn't talk to them. Okay. But we train the youth, we partner them, to avoid peace, to embrace peace, peace in our hands, and avoid conflict, and help us to avoid conflict. We train them to draw our attention to where conflict has erupted during elections. Indeed, as part of our arrangements, we have a call center.
Okay.
And the call center is where any reports from the regions come in. We have toll-free numbers. Everybody can call in. Another feature is because we're working with stakeholders. We are not threatening. We work with the Electoral Commission. We work with the police. We work with the media. We work with the political parties. When we were launching, they were all there.
The political parties.
Committing to peace. We have a peace cloth, and we've captured their signatures where they are committing to peace. And we were hoping that they will keep to the peace. Everybody came. The head of the NRM, the beautiful lady, who is
Justin Kasule Lumumba, the Secretary General.
The Secretary, she made a fantastic statement committing to peace, as did everybody else, and they had opportunity to speak to each other.
Okay.
The forum we had offered. But we have our toll-free numbers. These youth call in, we have a call center. And because we have before identified our partners, the Electoral Commission, the police, and they sit there with us. They all have desks. And they are there with us 24 hours.
Okay.
We don't sleep.
Okay.
Once this thing starts, so that we are taking the calls and making sure that we are recommending solutions in real time. We are not like the observers who come and observe and write reports. No.
Okay.
We very quietly behind the scenes, in real time, help to resolve problems. When they call us, we turn to the eminent women in the room. Do you know this gentleman? Do you know this lady? Do you know this situation? What do you think we can do? And then we make a decision.
That's what you do.
Yes.
As Women's Situation Room.
Yes.
What have always been your expectations, for example, between 2020 predominantly,
Yes.
that entire year when we had a lot of COVID everywhere in the world?
Everywhere.
We had about 20 or so, 25 elections on the continent. And there were those particular elections that were looked at. The election in Tanzania, the
That's
election
right.
in Ghana, the election, I think, in Burkina Faso,
Yeah,
the election in
yeah.
Ethiopia. There were particular elections that everybody looked at and said, yes, we want to see how this country goes through this period.
Yeah.
And now, of all those many elections, we also have the Ugandan election. I just want to know what the expectations of the Women's Situation Room were for those particular elections, and the expectations, their expectations for Uganda's election, which is actually happening a couple of hours from now.
You know, the countries which we have found did very well were those which were open, allowing everybody to speak their mind, express their opinion. The elections are supposed to be free and fair, and we add free from fear. So people should not be intimidated that they cannot.
Oh, you add something called free from fear.
Yes.
That's important. I'll write that down.
Yes. So that everybody can express their opinion, and when the results come out, whether the person won or not, they know the people have spoken. If I take Ghana, this is a situation, and we say nothing to fight about. If you don't agree, go to court. As we sit here now, a new president has been sworn in. He won by, I told you, the 40,000. The difference between the John Mahama and Nana Akufo-Addo this time was 500,000. But still, John Mahama said, I don't accept. I see a lot of difficulties with the process, with the work of the Electoral Commission. Let's go to court and test it out. And everybody claps. Hooray! Because
that was even part of the agreement. Should you feel you want to dispute the election results, then let's go to court and harmonize it there.
Exactly.
There should be no other way.
No other way.
Yeah.
No other way. Now, if people can demonstrate, you can't stop them, in Ghana at least, because the Constitution guarantees it. But within rules, You don't just get up and get on the street. You go according to whatever is laid down, and then you get the support. You want to present a petition, present it and go away. No need for sticks or stones or guns or knives or anything. And this is what we preach from the Women's Situation Room. We're talking to everybody. And I like to think that this time round, Uganda will be an example worth emulating by other African countries, and which will be quoted as a success. This is why, at my age, I have come here to see what I can also do within the Women's Situation Room contest to help the situation.
If you do not write reports like the AU Observer Mission, like the EU, like all the other the East African community observers, if you don't do these reports, then where do you report? How does it play out? I just want to know what happens thereafter. You've gone through the election in Uganda, you've gone through the election in Ghana.
We're going to go through the one in Kenya.
You're going to go through the one in Kenya next year.
Yes, we've done Nigeria, we've done Senegal, we've done Sierra Leone.
You've been to Ivory Coast.
Busy people, yes.
Then what happens if you don't write these reports? Then how do you see to actually do the comparison of this election and the other election and the other election?
We write reports.
You do write the reports?
But we do not only write reports, which other observers do. We prepare reports same as they do. Difference, we don't make a pronouncement, the elections were very fair, and no. We don't do that. Our reporting is completely different. But we pick lessons which we share everywhere.
Okay, well, that's very important. Can you just emphasize on the role of the women now and the youth in peace and conflict prevention this particular time round? Because you know, elections get people so emotional.
That is true.
They raise people's emotions, people's expectations.
That's right.
We have a breed of Ugandans who are going to do voting for the first time. I first voted in 2001. I have met young persons who are going to vote for the first time. Now, they do not know what it means. How does it mean to go to the polling station, be given a ballot, then choose whom you want? They want to experience that. And to so many, it's a do or die. The person that I vote for must actually win. If the Electoral Commission announces otherwise, then I shall feel bad. And how should they do, especially the women and the youth who are the victims of these situations?
Yeah. What I want to say is in a contest, once you use the word contest, somebody wins and somebody loses. Isn't that so? You always have a winner and a loser. And
in a contest, yes.
In a contest. And when you are entering a contest, naturally you are hoping to win. That's why you're going. And you commit to it, you are following, etc. And if you feel sorry, you have lost. It should be understood. But if you are insisting that you won, when the evidence is saying otherwise, then that is not on. This is why it's important to let everybody who is voting appreciate that the process is free and fair. I have had my say, but the way of determining who won has pronounced, and that's the Electoral Commission, that having checked everything, this is the situation. We women are saying, live to fight another day. Don't insist that this time, whatever the results, whatever, you're going to be violent, you're going to... No. When a referee has pronounced, as we do in Ghana, the referee being the Electoral Commission, man, woman, youth, the process is the courts. It's not streets, it's not violence, it's not shouting, it's not insisting that, no. This is where the ego comes in. And what we are saying is, we must have more women. If women were leading the world, you think we will have this situation?
We need
especially in Africa.
We need to give them a try.
You wait until we become the lionesses and say we're going to.
I want to thank you so much, Madam Mary
you.
Shali,
Thank you
and
so
I want
much,
to get your final comments
yes.
on these things.
Yes, I just want to pass a message.
Please do that.
From me to the people of Uganda. That this is the Pearl of Africa.
It is.
It's such a beautiful country. And beyond that, I saw Uganda in 1988. When you walk in and the country was broken. Everybody tried to get from Kampala to Entebbe. The road wasn't there, etc. When you had bullet holes all over the place. What shocked me the most was seeing children going to school and so traumatized, etc. And they're frozen, their spirits were frozen. They see a dead body lying down. They don't, they just
jump over it and continue.
Now you see a beautiful country. You look at the infrastructure. There's so much has been invested to make Uganda what it is today, a successful country in Africa. My personal hope and prayers are that these elections will take Uganda forward and not backwards. It's so important. It's a message from the Women's Situation Room to all Ugandans. You have too much going for you. Don't spoil it. Don't squander the opportunity you have to lead Africa and to be an example, to be quoted like people quote Ghana or other countries. It is possible.
It is possible.
It is possible. Okay. And as I say, we've got toll-free numbers which will be operational from tomorrow.
Okay.
So that if there's anything happening, everybody should feel free to call in to us, and then we will do our best to make sure that...
Why would they call on those numbers? What would they be seeking from you when they call those numbers?
When they call those numbers, they are telling us election material has not come here. Can you help to call the Electoral Commission? They are immediately there with us. Or they tell us there's somebody who is snatching a box there. Can you call the police? The police are there with us, so we tell them immediately, etc. Anything which is disrupting the elections.
Election related.
Election related.
Okay.
Election related. They should feel free to call in with.
Could you share those numbers, and my producers will actually write it on the screen here.
Okay.
Set the numbers, let them be on the screen for people to know them and to see them, and they will be operational starting tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Central 0800 333 433. Eastern.
This is for Central.
For Central.
0800 333
yes
433.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now Eastern.
Eastern.
0800 333 333. That's Eastern. Do you have it? All right. Now we have Northern. 0800 333 435. And finally, we have Western. 0800 333 436. And I want to emphasize that we have got women's situation rooms in all these areas. You call in, the eminent women will be there. Okay. The police will be there. The Electoral Commission will be there, etc., etc., etc. And we hope that brings some additionality to the process. We're not saying we are doing everything. No, there are others also doing other things. But this is the initiative of the women.
Okay.
The women of Uganda and the youth.
Okay.
And we just pray for peace.
Okay.
So we all say peace is in our hands.
Okay.
The women and the youth. Peace is in our hands.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I want to thank you so much, Maba Mary Shali.
Mary Chinere Hesi.
Chinere Hesi.
Because I have so many friends here, I want them to hear my name properly.
Chinere Hesi.
Chinwe Hesse. And to remember my husband who was here for so long,
It was Mr.
writing
Chinwe?
your laws was Mr. Chinwe Hesse.
Chinwe Hesse.
Writing
Okay.
your laws and so on. And he was a legislative draftsman.
Okay.
Very much involved with the constitutional process here. So,
Uganda.
Yeah, of Uganda. And they hosted him. He didn't want to go home. But now he's passed on.
No, he didn't want to go home, but he finally went to the
He
other
went
home.
to.
Well, that's it. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for joining us and for being here with us. And
Yes.
of course, our appreciation and gratitude go to the Women's Session Room. And we just say that we need to do our best to ensure that peace wins in whatever things that we do. But the election is tomorrow. Just go vote in peace and just vote for the person that you want. Do not vote. Do not cancel out the people that you do not want, because you shall have made your vote invalid. Let's go exercise our civic duty as Ugandans. UBC TV will be here tomorrow, the other day, and the other day, covering and giving you everything. The Election Hub is actually right with us here. We'll be speaking to you in quite a number of languages, and of course staging different studios across the country that will bring you live all these happenings as they continue to unfold. Now remember that there is a Uganda before us, of course, after tomorrow. The world is not ending tomorrow, and the world will not end in 2021. We need to be here and again be able to participate in 2026 general elections. My name is Jagenda Semakola Ziksoka. I just want to stop it here and to remind you that very shortly hereafter, the Electoral Commission is also going to bring you live, UBC will bring you live, that the Electoral Commission press conference to prepare the citizenry and the people of Uganda ahead of tomorrow's election. For God and my country, stay blessed as we continue inspiring Uganda. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra. Uganda Decides 2021.
Winston Churchill named it the Pearl of Africa. Uganda is probably one of the most gifted countries in the world. The people, the food, the love, the climate, the culture, the scenery, and the peace and tranquility. Join us as we take you through the journey. The journey, live and exclusive to UBC, your public broadcaster, inspiring Uganda.
Mina abomuka aje bali omwana gwe Mina ebisenge byogera n'ekyalo kyonna kyonna kimanyi
Yo mama twaza abasiiza bahakyala bibi ntali byokuyikara n'oli ebikikaka omukazi aliyo naabonabona
Mina omunnyo ogwo ogulaba kyegukukola nkimanyi
kiki ofa ki kati kikugasa ky'okukola sente nyingi ate nga togenda zeeyagalira
leba ogwawo nge harimu ebinyansi
n'omukazi zino sente zokka zetusigaza mu nju muno zikozese na buvunanyizibwa kuba simanyi kigenda tutuukako wanene ezo sente ozimazeeyo
mpulirangako omukwano gwo Mina
mukazi olina amagezi
nze njagala oleka akasajja ako kubanga bw'onoosigala n'aka kasajja ako webukagenda kuba kakuwangula amannyo oyagala kufuuka malibutole
amukankwegayidde linda omwana wange yeebaka
nowanje amanya omugasho gwawe nk'omukazi awulira oti
Bomboka mbikowe emyaka gyonna gye mbadde mu buno obufumbo ki kyenfunyemu sikyasobola ensobi gye nali nkoze mu bulamu bwange lyegi kutuukiriza buvunaanyizibwa bwange nga mukyala
tolerate sexual harassment.
Sexual harassment is unacceptable in our school.
Because a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
Aaron, your online classes are about to start. Do you have your writing materials ready? Do you have your notebook ready, your sharpener, your rubber, your ruler? We need to put off things that might distract you during the lesson so that you pay attention to the teacher. By the way, this is your new classroom environment. The teacher will be bringing you lesson online. Respect them. Yes. Dear parents, make sure that the children's gadgets are fully charged. They have enough data to take them through the lessons as they go online. And make sure that the children are comfortable as they study.
Continue washing hands with soap, sanitize, keep distance and avoid crowds, and wear your masks.
I am a beneficiary of the Myonga, which I have signed from my circle this date. Although it took us a period because of the corona, but I thank God we have handled it. So this is the Myonga, the money that is going to improve on my living standards. As if I reverse myself, the way I am in the village, my income is low. Income is low due to capital. I'm a farmer, but because of the little capital I have, it has not really made me prosper very fast. But with this money, I see now this again another stage to put me. Not me alone, my family, my neighbors, and the grandchildren also. Because I have to put the thing in an unorganized manner so that my grandchildren also get it. I'm following the Bible, which says you should plan for your grandchildren, not your children. So this the plan is for my own grandchildren. Through this government, because the president thought for me, I also have to think for what? The next generation.
Akutunga gen kedai shalamiki na pugani noi anu akira no ejoko no so my keso aya unuso e project lo ole bake Myonga Myonga elosa ngara kinisho adoketa itine polo noi ngesi shalamkito sa pugana telekate papa president Yoweri Museveni lo ajas keda o misho itina anu aike unu atekere no kwap otomoja uteneli jari sho lo itio nikitori sho adumne capital lo igeona so asom so it kosi asote bosa ishalam kini commercial officer papa RDC opportunity microfinance kere lule majase o paske de sho anu asom so itana kopa ni neroni idauso ai ngada kini kosi sirigino dula isirigino doltos imilioni ni kanye unike tisirigina kwa takanya peke da kaisa kan nyese eja so dula lo opportunity ituko kijo kere lo aina kisapugan erai kwa na milioni ni akaisa uni alukanye unike tisirigina kwa takanya pe lude ilo sita ngara kini show adomono Apple otomo otemu kosi obuku kosi teno chalo ikosi atukono kosi nweja so chalo ikiere elosita ikie unotoma o project alo elosa ngara kinisho kwa pa ngoro nulemi jo chan ibaki toy epone la shoman le due anapito inyo elosisirgin la ngara kinisho kwa pa ngoro aigwo okale akosi chuto joko nare kaditle mshonyo e capital ido ikoto show atamari bonebe iyala mashano angun konyati okiso miriama kina kede show nyesi tunga lu rebaka ibe middle men mamunga jeni kesi kedara inyo yanganati ko sirgine tubeti ko sirgino soda kirone kamanara kede sokoni lo igwela spesa adumuna mudungale pol akore mudunga muogo inyo konye mameni pedorsa yangara ikonai agwela konye ipuda so sokoni anu ikorio no kosi rotini kosi do chalo mamera rotini kotai lo ejo kuka konya lisa ra nyari kosi rotini talao nai idumun soda rengunai moto kana ngunalo mari direct ai ochalo ikosi apugani ngara ksado kutaita nai rotini da iche bore buboni korso kwape produce erai bore ne pole kote capital arai enya dule pol anua som so itane produce at least sorry yataki na iber ai idisi bore osako ikosi aro dula kosi anu kama nara kede produce tiso yala mkino koye bere jangu di yala masa depar nare ngara kisa pugan ai ke unu show kwapa ngora doke taita na ije iso asho mani moeda una konoralo bongun sai ai to show mkosi duwe jok so ikoto so ai papu gani ngaraksho adoke taita ngini do aka tekere no serere acho ito se konora da nara konora de buta yaro ni akotoni ka yuara to madeka na konora aso iloson kalomara sewa sate jok sate oke polon president Yoweri Museveni anu ajok soke nweso maikoni yala mano Museveni oye
I'm a chairperson Kaselo County Sako in Serere district. I'm very happy for this program because today we are receiving our Sako money. We also thank His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni Kagota for giving us this opportunity. I'm encouraging other members who are behind, let them also come. This is not a lie, it is a real.
I'm Okiswa Geoffrey, the RDC of Serere. I want to first of all begin by thanking His Excellency the President for the presidential initiative on wealth and job creation, Emioga. Emioga in Serere, just like in any other part of Teso, was launched sometimes back in February before the lockdown of COVID. So from the launch, we have been moving on very well in Serere as a district in particular. Myself as the chairperson of the Emioga in the district with our team, because we were required to form a working team that is chaired by myself. Then we have the NRM chairperson, the chief administrative officer, the community development officer, and the commercial officer. And we have been working together very, very well. I want to say that for now, in Serere, we have the 54 SACCOs already registered with the Ministry of Trade and Industries. So they have already got their registration certificates, all the 54, because we have 3 counties in Serere. So each of the counties has 18 Emioga SACCOs times 3, that is 54. But of course we all know that the SACCOs are premised by the groups or the associations at parish level. We have already registered 1,078 groups or associations at the various respective parishes in the various respective 15 sub-counties and the town councils that we have in Serere. I want to say that the program has been received with overwhelming excitement, and people now know that poverty sooner rather than later is going to be history. Because these specialized enterprises like the produce, the border borders, the youth leaders, SACCOs and associations have already developed their business plans, and they are ready to begin fighting poverty. And we all know that this is going to be a revolving fund. So the startup capital that has already been forwarded to Serere district of 1,680 million for the 3 different counties is already good enough for our members to get started. And today is like a public holiday for me, And Serere, as I left, is so excited that the startup is beginning now. The startup of the startup capital. Today, disbursements are going now to take place, where we have the tailors, we have the carpenters, we have the journalists ready enough with some of their associations to begin getting the money. But of course, we are also happy that we are joined by the consultants that were sent to us by Ministry of Finance and also Microfinance Support Center. The consultants have done a wonderful job. They came and added voice on what we had already done to prepare, mobilize, but also train our SACCO and association leadership. The consultants have gone through it, and for now I want to say that Serere, I don't want to say 100% ready, but even if I said Serere is 100% ready to start consuming the money, I would be right. But everybody is now well informed. And I am telling you, the fact is that poverty will soon be history in the Serere district.
I'm so grateful for the government, more so Papa President Yoweri Museveni, for the support he has given us. And first of all, we would have not known what to do, but we want to thank our commercial officer, Papara DC, Microfinance Support Center, opportunity for the work, for the sensitization they gave us. So far, we are doing well with our SACCOs. Right now, we have a savings of 80,650,000 in our SACCO, which is going to help us in our families, in educating our children, in uplifting us as women who had been down, longing to get somebody to help us raise our capital. We had been having very little capital for our businesses like produce, so now the government has helped us. Now so far, we are with the 15,500,000 in our account. So this money is going to help us. So we are very grateful for Papa, for the love he has given us as women and as Serere, as the entire district. We hope he will do more for us, and we are going to vote for him fully as our Papa, who has done us well, and our district Serere. So we are very, very, very grateful as women, as the community of Pingire sub-county, as a SACCO. We are very, very grateful for the support he has given us. Emyonga has come in a right time where we needed money for our businesses, for our children's education, and the rest of the... we are going to tell our people from our sub-counties to encourage them to come up, join the groups, join the SACCOs, and they will also get this support, and they will also be uplifted in their associations. So we are very grateful for that. When you go back, tell them, say that Serere as a district is very, very grateful for the support. The challenges that we have in our businesses is we had lacked capital. The capital was the major challenge, and where to market our produce, and the middlemen that are there, the ones disturbing us. We wish we had a good market for our produce. We shall be growing very, very, very fast. And the capital, if added, we shall also be very grateful. And the roads to our villages, for getting our produce, some roads are poor. That one is another challenge. And means of transport from the many sources to where we are to sell our things is another problem.
Abuni ayalamango ekakirore nyareta yango pa James. Abuni ayalamakin akutongo nono ayalamakin aga ayalamakin Papa Kwap. His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. No ayina kini sari renguna. Hanu hadu munisirigin lemyoga. Akese polobe anguni association kere ekorita emilioni na kaisauni. Dodo ikose tunga. Luije ikau. Mamunga koto su akuriakar. O milioni na kaisauna ngunu. Erai lukus. Mama pugan eja inyakari sirigini ngunu. Isirigini ngunu idare wa bank. Di sirigini ngunu ikopana rete esu. Anu haiganga kini kusikali ya. Opolo ete esu. Apele kireta pugan. Eja pugan anyu mbonebe. Iko ikwente beritunga ike unoso bakor. Na hara igare ekautu na ukaru. Emonyeta itaso. Ichana so. Konye ayawapuga ni sirigini. Ebalaba odukuti gurupunu. Ikatunga leja asikau. Odukuti gurupun opoti wadikaunosi kede CDCDO odumuti kapun ikapunulu rele kotoretunga kere mama yese kaise ibu yo do district nen ingara kino jo eponeli filinga ja forms ka choti so lu kwanida araunu lida edomu nisirigin peresha nakini jo eponeli dumonata su dikapun mami kuria kata konye bon ebalakiro bonbe idipostinga beriyo dibore odumi bore mamji dumuni bore aramji dipostinga iti bore akese polo beni dipostinga jonen idumu bore akora ngayon kapanyo net mama kipi elostre na mama bokaretai konye are bokara pan abo sitingin ngeselo sakipai ga ikini toma akese polo bi dipostinga jistringino banka ngina e poro bisirigira ichula kinai o banka ngina kirenguna dis Kuranga shalamkin Papa Yoweri Museveni anayo ya ne program lo asoda shalamkin Papa RDC lo serere anwa chamune program lo nepepe kede commercial officer kere yalama sono itunga lo serere.
I want to tell our people that first of all the money has arrived and is in very safe custody through Microfinance Support Center in Opportunity Bank. The money is there. Each of the circles are having 30 million as a startup capital. And then it is the circle of elected leaders that has 50 million as a startup capital. But also the associations are already saving with the circles, and I am very sure this money has already grown. I want to tell our people that we are getting started and that this money is going to be lent to the respective beneficiary associations and individuals in the associations at an interest of 8% per year. But I want to tell them to be very patient. Number one, this is not a political fund which people normally take up for luxurious expenditure. This is an economic fund that must generate more money. And therefore, when you are taking it up, you must have developed a business plan. Now, you develop a business plan where you are answering the three fundamental questions of one, how much do you want? You want it for what? And is that business viable enough to make you grow and also make returns on the money that it can develop to benefit other people? So these are the questions. But I want to caution the beneficiaries on two aspects. Number one, on leadership and management skills. If they want the training, Opportunity Bank has already offered us free trainings because we want to develop their capacity on governance. They must have regular meetings. They must know how to resolve conflicts. They must make sure that they take minutes, and we shall rely on minutes. Then two, on financial discipline and management skills. We need to build their capacity in this area, that when they take this money, the money is meant to grow more money, so that poverty is fought. The money should not be taken for other luxurious and social activities, like marrying second wives, like drinking, like going for parties, not at all, or weddings and so forth. The money is meant for economic investment. And therefore, the culture of savings must be invoked and made sure that it is inculcated. And I am already happy to assure the whole country that Serere with the saving, they are already doing very well, because you must save for investment. So when savings are good enough, then they can develop a business plan and now say we are ready for investment. But we want them to quickly do that so that they invest in viable economic activities such that together we meet the principle of the NRM government, and that is the principle number 3 of socio-economic transformation.
Hello children, this is Auntie Jovita from Auntie Jovita Children's Foundation. At Auntie Jovita Children's Foundation, we aim at putting a smile on every child. How we do it, God knows. When we see a child smile, we are happy. COVID-19 has presented itself with so many challenges, and one of the biggest challenges is teenage pregnancy. However, all is not lost. Today, let's listen to a message of hope from the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament of Uganda, Miss Rebecca Alitwala Kadaga, on the message of hope about teenage pregnancy. So, with a teenage pregnancy, during this COVID, it has actually, somehow, the percentages have actually escalated. And we at Auntie Jovita Children's Foundation, we are thinking, what can we do for these girls? Because some of them, they are victims because they didn't go in for it by themselves. Others, it's peer pressure. Others, it's idleness. And others, of course, it's family. Go and get married, and this girl is a child, and before we know it, they are pregnant. And as we partially open schools, we want you to give a message. Why are we doing this? Because we believe the world believes in you. Because I think people have tried, but now let's talk.
First, I know that it was not their plan to get pregnant. So the reasons are many why it happened. But I think that they are part of the human resource of Uganda. You may find that the young person who make them pregnant is also a young person. So both of them are valuable to Uganda. So I think that we should give them an opportunity to come back to school and complete their studies. So they should not be stigmatized. This is something that I think in law what we call force majeure, you know, something that you cannot, you're overwhelmed, you can't control it. So for me, I think that we should acknowledge them as our children and guide them, because the failings of the parents somehow enable this, and also the situation. So for me, I think that we should continue looking at them as the human resource of Uganda and help them to develop their potential.
Now we need to understand that some of the communities, they have all been, as you said, stigmatized. In some communities, the children have been sent out from home. So for that child who is watching you, what message do you have for her? She's pregnant, she's a young girl. She needs to hear from you.
I would just say that I want to feel that I understand what happened to them, and that it was not their plan, and therefore we should look at it in that context and understand that they are children, and they still need guidance, they still need protection, they still need a home, and they still need to complete complete the studies.
And on their health bit, what would you say?
Obviously, anyone getting pregnant should now have to undergo the 8 visits, antenatal visits. But sometimes if the child is on their own, maybe they don't even know that they're supposed to go for the antenatal clinic. So I think that if this has happened, they should go to the nearest health facility. But also I want to appeal to the adults who are running the hospitals not to attack them, to support them, explain things to them, and guide them to be able to go through this difficult period.
Right, Honorable Speaker, what message do you have for that girl who is not yet a culprit, who is not yet a victim?
I want to appeal to them to ensure that they stay pure. They should not accept pressures from their peers. They should not be moving around in groups. They should not be going out aimlessly, and that they should try as much as possible to stay home under the care of their parents and guardians. Yes.
Continue washing hands with soap, sanitize, keep distance and avoid crowds, and wear your mask.